comes.
Yo,
Oh,
how are we doing, my man?
there we are. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing well. It's been a while, man. I think I looked back and our like main little interaction we had was like 2019.
Oh shit, has it been that long?
You were asking me for some.
I know. Yeah, I was just getting started back then.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So did I read something you were in Australia? You're not from Australia, are you?
No, not from Australia, but lived over there for 5 months whenever I first launched the company. But then I was back and forth over there like every 6 months or so with Amazon whenever I was working there.
Now Amazon as in not for video production or for video production stuff?
No, not for video production. Like they recruited me out of college to go work for them, and then did that for like 3 years and then left after that.
Okay. And when did you officially like start making any money with video?
With video? Like I launched the company in 2018, and then I was still very much working at Amazon until May of 2019. So 2018 didn't make money.
Okay.
2019 was the year where I quit Amazon halfway through the year, then moved to Australia. I think I made like something small, like $10,000-$12,000 that
in
year.
Video again?
Yeah, just in video, because those first 6 months still working Amazon, and then moving to a completely new country, knowing nobody, was getting started a little tough there. But 2020 is when things started really rolling. 2020, obviously COVID hit. I came back to the States, and then that had a super positive correlation with video production. So we did about I think it was like 80,000 that year. Okay. Right. So I look at that as like kind of our actual first year in business.
And how many people were you doing a lot of the work then, or?
Yeah. I mean, it was basically just me 2020. Okay. And then 2021, which was last year. So we did like 300,000 in revenue. And then the team grew to basically 3 full-time employees, 2 part-time contractors. And then this year we'll do like 2 to 2.3 million in revenue.
Wow. So a huge jump, man.
Very big.
I mean, know that with certainty. I just heard it in your voice. Like you're like,
yeah, it's locked in.
No question.
It's basically locked in. Like I closed up like 200,000 already this month. So, and then there's like a couple big whales sitting out there still to close. So,
So what I want to, because some of this, and you're okay. I'm recording this right now. I'm not doing
dude, you're good.
If there's something that ever comes, I'm going to treat it like this is never going to be seen by anyone or anything. But if there's something that you would not want heard by anybody, just make sure you say something that way.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'm good with putting everything out there. I don't hide anything. I want my secrets to be everybody else's secrets.
Yeah, so. No, it's cool, man. And so real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes now, where you're at, how much were you doing in 2018, 2019? Just out of curiosity, not money wise, but just in general, like how many projects, how many things were you shooting? I mean, most of it was free, I'm assuming, or you were charged a little bit? Yeah.
I mean, it was, I definitely did, Parker from Full Time Filmmaker taught the free to fee thing, and I 100% followed that. I don't do it as much anymore, but that same concept of like providing so much value up front so that where it just converts on the back end for sure. But 2018 was basically just like understanding what I wanted to do and like building the foundation for it. Right. So like building out the website, the logo, like what do I want the brand to be, like how, like stuff like that. Right. Like stuff that you really need to understand before you're going to just go launch a brand. Sure. And then 2019 was whenever, I started doing projects and was just kind of all over the place. I thought I was just going to do real estate videos. I'm like, real estate videos. I'm like, this shit looks fun. I thought I was going to do just like the $1 million listing LA stuff. And shortly found out that real estate agents are pretty big cheap asses. So that
was like, I think Casey in the Full Time Filmmaker group, he realized that for him to win there, he really just had to build a machine that was doing like $200 to maybe $500 projects, and that was it, and have an army of guys going out, because you weren't going to get a regularity of like the super expensive ones. So
exactly. Okay. But yeah, that was basically 2018, 2019.
A lot, just very foundational, just getting out there. exploring, experimenting, a little bit of everything, trying things out.
Yep, exactly. Learning, like building the portfolio, learning what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, like just really understanding like
what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you like.
Exactly.
Just because something makes money, but you hate it, you're like, we're not messing with this.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And I definitely do that now where it's like, okay, we're good. Like,
well, I saw on their website, I was telling about the other day, I'm like, what I love is you got go big or go home. And it's like, if you're looking for a boring video, you're in the wrong place. Right out of the gate, like, and I can people go, what an asshole with this. And then people going, yes, that's my guy. You know what I mean? And so it's a bold statement that probably obviously your first 2 years, there was none of that happen. You're like, I don't really care. I'll do that. I'll do a little bit of this.
Exactly.
Okay. So then when did that kind of vibe start to come out? So it's there presently, but like 2020 with the 80, was that starting to refine that more?
Yeah. There's a couple things that happened, I'd say, that were like pivotal moments. And 2020, like almost right out of the gate in February, was whenever we did it was like, I still think probably to this day the biggest production I've put on, but it was like for this exotic car rally down on the US-Mexico border with like Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini.
Awesome.
We filmed all that content. We had like the best FPV pilot in the world there, Alex Vanover.
Okay.
And we just got unreal footage. And then that's when like the relationship started with Lambo and McLaren and Ferrari. They love it. And then all of their clients love it. And then it's just like, boom, like the network just like, it's just like, I remember waking up the next day after we had delivered the video to them, and it's like McLaren official, Lambo official, Ferrari official in my DMs on Instagram. I'm like, whoo, I'm like, I like this. But it was kind of that moment where I was like, I think we might have just made something. Yeah, that was in March 2020.
Okay. Now, what was the money on that, or was that a free project? Like
that was a free one.
Yeah,
that was a free one.
You said you had all these people, so were you using some out of pocket to pull that off?
Well, so basically there was some funds there, but I personally did not take a cut of that because I just wanted to put on the best. I knew that I needed something big like that, a big portfolio piece to get in front of other clients of that status, both personal and brands.
How did you get into them to begin with?
Well, so I had seen the ad on Instagram actually for that rally called Squadra.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that looks fun. I wonder if they've got a videographer. And I just reached out, just sent them a DM. And I was like, hey, do you guys have a videographer? And they were like, no, we're actually looking for one. And then boom, just worked like that. And then those brands, right? Like Lambo, Ferrari, McLaren, they were all sponsors of the event. And so when they found out about us and they wanted the content, then they wanted videos, that's where all of it started just coming together.
Okay, cool. And so now with present day and where you said you're going to go, let's kind of fast forward for a second. So
sure.
Are you running any ads? Are you doing anything like that? All no ads at all. So zero ads.
Yep. Zero ads. Everything is inbound. I don't do outbound. I haven't done outbound in over a year and a half. Okay. Or probably just a year solid. So no cold emails, no cold calls, no cold DMs.
So but you did. So
I did.
How long? You said not for a year and a half, but so in those first 2018, 2019, and maybe the majority of 2020, you were cranking out.
Yep. I tried it all. I did everything from cold calls, cold emails.
Anything that sticks out as the most effective for you?
Yeah, the most effective thing that still pays dividends to this day was going to networking events. When I came back from Australia, I was going to anywhere from 3 to 5 networking events per day. I was going to a breakfast, coffee, lunch, dinner, happy hour, you name it. I was there between San Antonio and Austin. I was driving early mornings, late nights. That was the most. What's that?
When did you shoot anything?
Well, I wasn't really shooting anything.
You were just connected like a man.
Yeah, because I knew that that's what it took, right? I had put a good amount of money away from Amazon to save, and I knew that that was going to be what fueled Media Pouch for a while. But I knew that I just needed connections, networking, resources, stuff like that before I even started shooting. But meeting all of those people, I still have clients from those 3 months where I was just going ham, networking events And like in-person stuff is ultimately, what pays the dividends. Like I just don't think that the industry, maybe you can do it, but what we're charging, like we're very high price ticket item.
While we're at it, what's your average, if there's an average of all the things, like for this coming year, what will be your average transaction value of a client?
Yep. So our minimum project cost at this point is $10,000. And then our average lifetime value of a customer is sitting around 21,000. Okay. And then, well, that's actually going to go up this year. That'll increase to more around 30,000 as an average. Okay. And then on the highest ticket project we did last year, that's kind of running into this year, is 200,000. Okay. And then the big project, there's two big projects that we'll complete this year for two different brands. One is sitting at like 750,000 and the other one is at $1.2 million. Awesome,
man. That's awesome. And that's all from the networking connections. Is it in can you say the industry? I don't know if you can give any of that away.
No, I'm good. So those projects, those three big ones, are not from those networking events. That was just like the ones with Industrious, where we have our office space at. We did a lot of work for them last year, and then they really liked from corporate side, they really liked the videos, and they want to do it on a global standpoint now. They're like, all right, film all 200 plus of our locations across the world, in London, US, everywhere. So it's just come from just like being
something where you're getting around your 10K to complete one of these, and there's like, hey, it's quantity in that aspect.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Now, how for you would you view, well, it's kind of a twofold question here, because I think that, do you know now how to make it predictable? So like, I hear that some people could hear certain things where it's like, oh, well, you happen to do something with the thing that somewhat accidental turn into this big thing. Do you know how to repeat an industrious situation where now I could do XYZ, open the door, do this, and I could get maybe that ties into the 750 and 1.2.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything's MRR, monthly recurring revenue. So there's, I don't think we've taken any one-off projects in quite a while, but everything is, I treat it like Netflix. Everybody, all clients, customers, everybody's so used to like the subscription purchase model now. Like they're just like sign up for it, they pay every month, and then that's just what people are used to. So why wouldn't I provide a product service solution that is just the same? So it can be a monthly editing, for your podcast or video, whatever, or it could be monthly video production, but it's all, it's minimum 3 months starting out, and then 9 times out of 10, I convert them to a 12-month contract after that into MRR. So then that way, I love monthly recurring revenue.
Sure. If we take Industrious, $200,000 project, I'm assuming you said something like the 200 times 10, whatever. But like, are you breaking that down for them in that same type of way? Like, is that how you're doing it, rather than, or are they coming with 50% up front? Like, how are you taking some of those and having that be that way?
Yeah. So like with the Industrious deal, how I'll structure that, I like, no matter what the project is, how big, how small the revenue cost is on it, I like having monthly. Like, I don't want the big lump sum up front. I don't want it at the back end, front end. I don't want 50-50. I want monthly, because then that is easier cash flow wise for their company, and they're not allocating all those funds there. So then it's an easier purchase decision for them. Yeah. But then it's also better for me, because then I don't go and spend all of it on like gear, new PCs. Like it caps me on, it's like, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't scale too fast. Like, so that's why I like the monthly stuff there. So that one will be just more like monthly payments versus MRR.
That's what I was going to say, because it seems like, and I had done some of that where I got people to convert simply by what you're talking about. Like the project, I had one that was a $30,000 event that was going to be, pretty simple overall, but they weren't going to do it if they had to come up with 15 or 20,000 up front. So they just made 12 payments of whatever that math was.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And it made them say yes.
Yeah.
And I think too many people, a lot of my early career, and probably a lot of creatives and filmmakers, there is mostly being taught overall that kind of like, get 50% down, get a third, do the project, and when you're done, get paid. But what you're saying that I was seeing towards the end of when I was actually in it myself selling,
sure,
is that being able to spread it out and be creative with the price, like with the way they pay, not necessarily the pricing or even the packaging, just how they're able to pay you can get you much larger amounts for the
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That's great. So outside,
and I think it's like, just to touch on it real quick, because one of the thing I think why people would be hesitant doing that is like when you're starting out, you might not be, your price points might not be that high to where it makes sense for like that monthly, right? Like if I've got a $10,000 video and I'm spreading that monthly across like 10 months for the client, then it's $1,000 a month. I might very easily I might burn through my actual expenses in that first month of just shooting and editing, and my cost might be 2,500. So it might not make sense starting out. But once you get to that point where you've got either enough MRR or like higher price ticket items, then it makes sense. So
that's a good, I'm glad you brought that up, because it doesn't make sense to spread out some $1,000 project for freaking 10 months or something.
Well, exactly. No,
say yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, let me just charge you a financing fee then for that. If we're going to do that, then, because that's just a little silly.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, when you're getting into the 20, 30, 50, 100, multi-$100,000. Now, so what does a normal, so you got these three kind of big projects there. Now, how much other, I remember one of our years, was a $400,000 year, and 50% of the revenue was from like 2 people. And then the other 50% of the revenue was from like 30 people.
Yep.
So when you're looking at, because what was the number that you threw off this year? You're like, we got it, like in the back.
Yeah. So last year was 300K revenue. This year will be 2 to 2.3 mil revenue. In terms of client breakout, what does that look like? Last year, we had a client spend probably, what is that? 79 divided. That was our. Yeah, so our biggest client made up 26%, and then everybody else is pretty evenly distributed, right around that 20, like 15, 20, 10 to 20K mark there, it looks like. So,
and not much. So, I mean, all of 2021, you didn't do anything less than 10K that year.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, the only things I'm looking at, like overall project, definitely over 10K, but there's months of, what sometimes it looks like lowest got down to like 2,700 or something like that. But yeah, the overall project cost is 10 months. Or
there might be a little ancillary
like minimum
thing
10
you may or may not do that you add on for a couple $1,000, but you're not going to take a client on that's only going to be a $2,500 project.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't, maybe it makes sense, but I'm just not very, I'm not motivated to take that client on. I'm more motivated to refer that client to another one of our, agencies that I know down here, and then just take like a finder's fee on that. So
out of curiosity, what number do you do on that? I mean, that's
finder's fee.
Yeah. For your
like 10. Yeah. 10%,
okay.
Yeah. So, cause basically how I look at it is like, they came to us, they want the best, like I'm referring them to you. I've hyped you up already. You basically just got to get them to sign the contract. Like they're going to do it. They want to do it. So because I'm bringing it to you and it's ready to go, I want 10%. So
no, that's great.
Yeah.
So with the MRR and the projects that you're, because what I talk about, you may or may not have heard, but this kind of order taker master chef. And there's the order taker where it's like people come to you, they bark their orders at what they want you to do. And a lot of creatives or companies just go, okay, yeah, I don't want to rustle feathers. I know I probably get the job if I just do what they tell me versus. So how much do you have that's any inbound that you've got people going, well, this is just what we want, man. We got this budget. Or have you reached a place where the majority of inbound is like, they're ready to spend the $10,000+. They're ready to do something, monthly, or it's you actually hearing what they say going, okay, that's great, but here's why we do what we do, the way we do it.
Yep.
All of that. Like how much are you kind of converting somebody from something that's like not really fully up your wheelhouse. Like they're right. Say they got the money particularly, but they're coming in wanting you to do stuff where you're like, yeah, that's
not what we, I'd say 90% of the clients' projects, whatever, come in with just like an initial project and they're like, we just want this one thing.
Okay.
And
And that one thing, would that be, okay, let's say that one thing, is that a $10,000 project, let's just say, and then from there, what are you doing to get these people to move on? What are you saying? What's that process look like?
Yeah. So typically they'll come in wanting something, and then I'll put them into like the video business card package where it's just like, okay, well, like, I start painting the picture to them of like what an actual video marketing blueprint looks like. Right. Cause I'm like, okay, let's say you want to do this like hype video for your ads on Facebook and Instagram. Great. That's fine. But then I'll ask the question like, but where are you taking them? Like, do you have a squeeze page set up? Like where are you converting them at? Because what is sitting on that page? And that's what I want to know. Because if you don't have that page with like, if you're, for this example, call it a high price ticket sale item. Say you're selling this $10,000 video, and they see the ad and they're like, "Ooh, I like that." And they click learn more or sign up, whatever. They get to the landing page, squeeze page. There's nothing on there to actually then convert them. And that's where I can then integrate in the video business card, which is that company's like foundational blueprint. It's like, this is who we are, what we do, FAQs, all that good stuff. But that's what is like, giving them the confidence to book that call or something. So, they went from having this hype video, that's all they wanted. But now I'm telling them, you need something else here to convert them. Like they've seen that, you've grabbed their attention. Now you actually need them to make an emotional decision. So that's how I'll upsell, initially on those projects. But then, in the discovery call fact finding, I'll ask, what's the overall strategy here? Like, are you guys just trying to do ads? And if you are, ads only, you're going to hit a threshold on your ads where like people just get burned out of them. Like they've seen them already, you've exhausted your market, and you need to be having like new creative ads. So that's where I can then put them on the MRR schedule. And it's like, all right, we need to be filming like, 1 day per month, 3 videos. And then it makes sense to them, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, like maybe this isn't.
You guys are not running the ads for your company right now, or are you?
No, we're not. So we partner with a couple different agencies down here, where basically we'll create the content, and then, that company that is doing, or that company that hired us for the video, they might have an internal team that's running the ads. Like say, for example, Industrious, right? Like they've got a huge internal marketing team. They're not going to outsource it.
Sure.
But if that isn't the case, then we will like outsource it to one of the companies down here that I know and trust, that is going to get them the results. And that's how, our content is converting and getting them results big time like that, which is huge, right? Because if they're going to
on the website, all your very results driven, like little tags you've got there, those are those kind of partnerships where somebody's coming in, do the initial videos. You've got your collaboration with somebody that's running ads. You can see, wow, these people they went from here. Now, how detailed is the tracking, like that you find out where they are relative to then they do the video, they do the work with you, and 6 months later? I mean, is that pretty?
It can be, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, depending on the client. Ideally, they let us open up the analytics with them, and we go in there and look at it and see like what the different KPIs are for like conversions, watch time, all that good stuff. If not, like if they don't, say they're just not up with it, I think you can relate, but I'll basically ask them, okay, what were you doing before video implementation? What are you doing during video implementation? What are you doing after? So then that way I can kind of get 3 different data sets there and, make a pretty informed, ROI on it. Like, cause there's definitely a little bit of a formula there, cause you don't want to, maybe they had something else going on, but it's understanding. I try to isolate it as best as I can, do like A/B testing, like before, during, after. So then it's ABC testing, I guess. But
are you white labeling the companies if you're partnering with one of the other agencies? Or they think it's all your company doing it, or you just hand that over?
I hand it over. I don't want us to. I basically then take a finder's fee on that side of it too.
Okay. Is it recurring, or is it a one-time for that?
I just do one time on that. Like after I have no interest in taking somebody else's MRR. I'm happy to just take one-time fee for that and just crush it for them. I don't want people resenting me, but
no,
you're
there's no right or wrong answer to it. So
because I don't like white labeling all that much. I think people I think everybody can coexist, and yeah, it's competitive in business, but I think everybody can thrive together. And
I think there's a power in the honesty and transparency too.
Yeah.
I think that there's this, because then there's this, if you ever have to have those people deal with the clients directly, then there's this whole like, and then they find out, well, wait, that guy exists, and it just you're caught in white lies, really.
Yep. And I've been there, not in the sense of like me getting caught in the white eye, but like I've dealt with other companies before, and they're like these branding companies, and they act as that middle person between you and the client. It's like, I don't need to go through you. Like, you were just complicating
and then
this
you're
entire
charging an
thing.
extra 20,000 so you can make more money, and then
they're not even doing anything.
Yep.
When I had that experience, I was like, I will never fucking do that to a client or anybody that we work with. And I have no interest in playing middleman. Like, something's not working, they go directly to that person. If it's going great, they go to that person. I don't want anything to do with it.
Sure. Now tell me, what are the people who are doing the MRR? Is there any particular type of niche that you're in with that, or you're just getting a variety? Like you've got the type of process you do. As my one buddy used to say, it was kind of like business brand or bride. Like overall, the niche was kind of the style of work that was being done and the process. Then it was, we will only do this for this. And where are you sitting on that spectrum right now?
I think we're on all ends of the spectrum. We've got, we've got the famous dentist here in Austin that we're doing YouTube episodes for, and we're, hopefully, not hopefully, but I'm going to take it, pitch it to Netflix, and then hopefully get it on there. Awesome. There's big opportunities there. So we're doing that. That's definitely, you've got YouTube episodes. We've got product advertisement commercials for social media. That's like a men's grooming company. We've got different, let's see, like training SOP, FAQ videos for companies that we do, like just updating their library.
Sorry, I cut you off a few times here. So how are those in those separate, how's the inbound coming from that now, this variety pack? Because usually like when I went and did free work actually in the thought leader speaker space, coach space, like then all these referrals just started coming in that space. That kind of became my niche by default. I'd get random things, but like this variety pack, how's that coming to you?
I think it started off as a variety pack, and I think the variety pack just keeps on providing a variety pack. Like,
sure, that's
like
true,
I don't.
It was true because of all that. So you're probably a way you've been pitching and what you're selling from all that time. I mean, 3 to 5 times a day for 3 months. I mean, to how literal that really ends up being for you.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of human beings that you interacted with that were definitely, of course, a variety pack. And I mean, I think that's the thing that people, when they hear niche and picking these things, sure, there's can be some truth to that, but simultaneously, because if you're doing random things, you'll get random results. But that also, I think there's so much out there that's shoving people down this path that they need to go, I only do X, Y, Z for dentist, and and that, I don't know. There's a fine line of what you're doing and how that can work well versus you can still be, because it's a variety of people work, but not a variety per se of what you're doing with the MRR and the package, right?
Exactly. The variety pack is the industry, right? Anything from dentists to cannabis to cars to you name it, we're in it. But this type of, like, where I say, if somebody asks me, what does our client look like? I tell them our client looks like anything and everything, but it's someone who is already doing marketing. They're already doing some kind of marketing, content marketing, whether it's video, photo, something like that. They're running ads or something.
They are doing a little something already.
They're doing something a little bit already, or they're not, but they're like, we know we need to be doing this and we're ready to do this. So anybody that's like right there and they're ready to just basically put gasoline on the fire or start the fire in general, that is what the client looks like now. Because I don't care whether, I mean, there's obviously some things I won't do, like we had like a little girls cheerleading outfit company reach out and they're like, we want a hype video. And I'm like, just kind of weird, like maybe I'm like, that just seems like a weird shoot. I'm just not going to do that. Like if the LA Rams cheerleaders wanted a video, sure. Yeah. Come on over. We'll do that.
I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I think just, I don't think people need to, unless they're super passionate about it, right? Like if somebody's super passionate about documentaries, right? Like go do documentaries. Then if you want to film teeth all day, go film a dentist then. So I can see like where,
well, there's
some
a
people
key
probably
thing
need to
you said, which I always bring up. It only works when the people have that love and passion for it. When they're forcing themselves to niche down to go, oh, dentists are the most lucrative people because I saw that in somebody's marketing course that I should pick dentists. And they don't really have any desire besides supposedly the outcome of money it can produce. It's usually not a driving factor enough for them to ever get to the result. They're bored, they give up, they quit.
Exactly. They'll get burned out so quick. Like they'll get burned out.
I got a question real quick here I want to ask.
Yeah.
I had a few people that this has come up with, and it's interesting.
Sure.
One somebody I know was saying, when asked how are you different on the phone, how are you different from other people? He has an answer. A few of these people that have an answer, but then they're like, but candidly telling you, not much. And I'm like, that has to be in alignment. What you tell somebody with a level of conviction and certainty, you need to also believe, not just you give somebody some lip service and you're saying something. Because I just think that there's a bunch behind the scenes that goes on. It's more my psyche type of stuff and energetics and things. But number two, what would you say to that? If I was on the phone with you right now, I'm one of those, like, I'm doing a little bit, I'm kind of primed. I go, man, I'm looking at some other people. Like, what makes you different from other video companies and, agencies and marketing video companies that are out there? Like, why would I pick you?
I say exactly this. We create epic videos that drive results. Like, we're not just a videographer that shows up and presses the record button and says, here you go, here's your video, have fun with it, let it sit on your website, and you spent all that money and now it's a depreciating, and it's deep, like, it's not depreciating, but it's like a car. You bought it and it's got a time limit. And, we come in, we do everything from pre-production all the way to distribution. We come up with the perfect strategy storyboard, and we research the market and your product and understand what your audience is buying and how to leverage that into like a FOMO atmosphere. And we're creating a positive ROI asset. This is not just a video. This is a video asset. Like, this thing is going to make money for you. Like, here's our track records of results. Last year we drove like $2.1 million in revenue for our clients just from videos. There's nobody else in the country doing that. So, it's either us or go with average Jim down the road. Either way, let me know. And that's what I say.
Got it. Got it. When you say the distribution part, now, when you get deeper into the conversation, would that be where you'd bring up that you'd be kind of handing off, or what degree are you handling distribution within your company?
Yeah, it really depends on like the scale and the scope of what they're trying to do with distribution. So no matter what, as long as they sign with us, they'll get a video distribution roadmap guide. And it's like, here's all the things that you need, to do with your video content in order to get results, right? And it walks them through like Facebook stuff, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is. And it'll get into like some ad stuff, just organic stuff.
Generic that goes to everyone, or how much do you go through that with them and talk through that? Is there?
So it's generic. That's generic, but then there's also SOPs that I've created for, like, let's take, for example, YouTube, right? Okay, so you need to post on YouTube and yada, yada, yada. That's part of your roadmap. How do I post on YouTube? How do I do this effectively? Well, I've created an SOP one pager for the client that gets sent as well. And it's like, all right, this is how you come up with a title. This is how you need to design your thumbnail. This is what needs to go into your description. These are the keywords. Sometimes that's where it gets a little specific. I'll actually, take, for example, I keep on using the dentist, but the dentist, right? Like, the keywords they want to rank for are veneers. So I'll plug that into our plugin on vidIQ, see all the top keywords, send that over, boom, plug these keywords into your video.
There is a little bit of personalization for a person. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Cause I don't, you can be generic up to a certain point, right? Like, YouTube is definitely calls for a lot more attention than Facebook or Instagram.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
So we'll do that. Sometimes we'll take over their channels. So like we've just taken over a YouTube channel in the last month, where we're actually posting, doing the show notes, the thumbnails.
Got it.
Kind of the influencer relationship management, to where the influencers and celebrities that are in these videos are posting on their platforms as well, and we're giving them like a little content dissection video to post onto their platforms to then promote to their audience. And if it's just like, yeah, we just want to go super fucking big and we want all the platforms and all the ads and everything, then I'm like, okay, outside of us, you know, like we're not there yet. I don't know if I want to get into that game.
The organic strategy that one can implement with the content, where it should be posted, how it can be posted. But if they need to run ads and across multiple platforms, that's
exactly. And I'll work with them some, like if they know that their audience is specifically on like Facebook or Instagram and they're going to run ads, then I'll walk through some of that with them. And most of the time they've got some kind of digital marketing partner or employee that I can pair with and be strategic with, and we'll just jam and do that. But you know, if it's just everything all at once, that's where I'm like, I just toss up the white flag. I'm like, too much.
How quick from call to sign up are you having? If you got 20 people right now who are more or less ideal fits, what's that process look like? They're emailing, they're calling. What's that process, and how quickly are you finding that some people are excited, but they're not signing up with you still for 6 months? Or is there any kind of patterns you're finding in any of that?
I think we had like it used to be quite a bit of a lag, but now I feel like the referrals are that much more qualified. So I'd say at max, the entire process is like 2 weeks. And if after 2 weeks, if they're not signing, then I shoot them a text and I'm like, hey, is this project still alive? And if they say yes, then, you know, because it's a yes, no answer, right? Like they're going to say yes or no. If they say no, they're out, right? Like they've given up on it themselves. And if they've given up on it themselves, then I know.
And do you, is it a you're dead to me approach, or like, do you have any follow-up campaign ever to do anything? Like,
nope, it's dead.
Got it.
Yeah. And there's a million other people ready to do it. So I'm not going to waste my time. And you know, you just lost your spot.
What about for clients though? Where is that in taking somebody from a one-off, like that follow-up process? Like, is that happening on the front end, or they get done with we paid you 10,000. We think we're done. How quick is that process to get them to then, okay, yeah, we're going to do, you know, the regularity of things with you?
Oh, like the MRR stuff.
Yep.
That's already,
that's on probably the selling process.
Yeah, like I've probably already got them in that discovery call and onboarding call. I've probably already changed their mind or decision to go from just that package, or taking that package and turning it into a monthly thing, or like, yeah, the monthly's
come in thinking they're going to do just a single one-off thing.
Yep.
By the time they're done and you've had a conversation with them in the discovery, they go,
yep,
that's not the best decision. We need to do this.
Exactly. That's all happening up front before we even start shooting filming.
Got it. And so you'll still take on a right fit person though, if they haven't fully latched into that vision yet.
Yep.
Do you still get some of those to convert?
Yeah. They'll convert later down, right? Like, as long as, like, I'll take them on for the one-off if I feel like, or if I've got some insight from them that like they're gonna go big, or like I can see the vision for them. They just need a little bit more work. But like, for example, with Motor Code, right? They initially came to us for just one initial video, but it's like, you know, their launch. Well, I can't talk about it too much because I'm under NDA, but
that's good.
Basically it started with one video and I'm like, well, because it's this kind of product, I think you need to have FAQs because people might not understand the UI of what you've got here, but you've also got to hook them in somewhere, you know, as an ad. And then you're also going to need this video for like, you know, investors and pitching and stuff like that. So, you know, I see the upsell there. And then that's where also now we're going to get to go on a 6-month road trip across the USA with them. Right.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
So I'll see the potential there in upselling them, or, you know, if it's a monthly thing, like that client's not monthly, it's more so bigger projects, but like Bossman Brands, like they initially came, you know, for one video. I'm like, well, you guys are spending like 50,000 a month on ads. I'm like, and you want one video? I'm like, you guys need like 3-4 different videos.
Discovery where you get that
that
data, right? Where you're like, are you running ads? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And then you're able to fit that into your pitch.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Hey, I want to be respectful. I was at least maybe another 25 minutes. You got
Dude, you're good. I got you blocked till 11:30.
Okay, cool. I just, so if everything were taken away right now, but all the portfolio and knowledge, like the phone, for whatever reason, your website got taken away, your phone number, they can't figure out how the heck to get a hold of you.
Yep.
Like there's no more inbound leads, but like your portfolio, your work, your confidence, what results you know how to get.
Yep.
What would you do to go drum up some business? You know,
I'd go back to my networking events.
Go back to them now. Would there be a more strategic approach to them, where you just start bombing networking events? Like, what would be that person if you have all that now? Because that's like the free to fee thing. Like, I still can be very strategic, no matter what I'm going to do now, on how I'll use free work to get projects. So where would that fit? Would you be very laser on how you do that?
I learned a lot in my 3 months of going to 3 to 5. I learned so much because I took the approach of, I got to go to all of these and I got to talk to every single person. I got to get their card. I got to get their number, everything. But I got exhausted doing that because that's just a lot. And I think it was on like probably the last month I was doing it. So month 3, I was like, fuck, I'm like, how do I get these people to just like, how do I get them to come to me at this event? Like, how do I not circle the room and people circle me? Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I had figured out like, oh, like most of these networking events, you can pay like some kind of sponsorship fee or something. It's usually like $50 to $250 and you can sponsor it. And that usually gets you like, you know, a 30-second to 1 minute long pitch in front of everybody. Okay. So I was like, okay, this is worth my time. If I'm going to 5 of these a day, I don't have time to connect with, you know, probably 1,000 people that I'm connecting with every day. Right. And I need all of their information to come inbound to me in a single place. But why would they do that though? So I figured out they'll do this if I give them something of value. So I came up with three tips, right? I started off with 3 tips. I would give people 3 tips. And I'm like, if you guys thought that those were valuable, then follow us on Instagram, shoot me a DM, give me your contact info. That didn't work. Okay. So then I switched to, here's 3 tips that you know, one was funny, one was serious, and one was something that they could immediately implement. Okay. And then the 4th point of value was a logo animation, right? So I had bought like some cool template off Motion Array or whatever, very easy, standard to use. And so I'd give them their 3 tips and do a little pitch. And I'd say, you know, all right, if you guys are, I'm trying to think how I exactly said this, but
this is great. So yeah, tips, a fun tip, a serious tip, implementation tip now. And then I'm assuming you were giving them a logo animation for free,
exactly. So I created a FOMO environment and I said, look, anybody in this room, if they go and follow Media Pouch on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever, whatever platform you want to follow us on. And if you hit DM, send me your name, email, and phone number in the next minute. And I'm only going to take 100. I'm only going to take 100 people out of here, depending on how big the room was.
Gauge like the size. If there's 500 people in the room, you say 100. Yep. If there was only 50, you might say 20 or whatever. Okay.
Yep. I'm only going to do this for the next minute though. So I've given you 3 tips. You know, you can have your free logo animation if you do this, and dude, it would just rain in that DM. And that's what I figured out. And that's how I would be super strategic about it again.
To IG?
What's that?
Mainly pushing them in Instagram?
Yep. Yeah. Pushed it. Cause I wanted it to I wanted 2 things. I wanted their information, but I also wanted to build the brand at the same time. Sure. And I knew that I needed credibility on platforms.
Then all you start putting out, I mean, it's so genius because I did that on such a micro scale when I was on things, because I would basically, rather than handing out cards or whatever, when I would interact with somebody, I would typically want to have them follow me on Facebook.
Yep.
At that particular time when I was doing things, because then it's like, now without sending a MailChimp campaign, whatever, you know, it's like when I'm posting new stuff, you're staying top of mind, and there's these silent lurkers that then they come out of. Dude, that is genius. So the next minute you send me that. Now, did they DM you that they want it?
Yep. Well, they didn't even say they wanted it. I just said, just DM me your name, email, and phone number. And then the next day I would go through everything. Like, whoever DM me got the free logo animation, honestly, you know, like but
it started.
when
now,
you're
how did that convert for you? Like from an aspect of doing more than that?
Yeah. So
there could be a lot of people you're cranking out the little, I know that's just to me, for people who may or may not listen to this in the future, if they do, like, I could hear people go, oh my God, it's gonna be so much time. And then this and that. And it's like, yeah, but like everything takes time or money. Like, you know, if you're running ads, that's costing you money, maybe not time, but like, you know, there's always a cost. And so, anyways, go ahead with what proceeded after you went through and gave them the logos.
Yeah, I think you're right though. I mean, people will listen and they'll be like, "Oh, that's so much work," and it's like, well, okay, that's why you're down there and I'm up here. So I put in the work.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid to shun on them. So, but I would basically bang out I would bang out the day before's logo or I'd do all the logo animations on the weekend, right? And so then everybody would get it delivered by Monday, and I'd email it to them, and I'd say, "Hey, Lisa, here's your logo animation. Thanks for following us. And I really appreciate connecting with you and hope this helped your business in some way, shape, or form." You know, at this point, I just got back from Australia. So I was saying, you know, I just got back to the States from Australia. I'm trying to build the brand over here. It would mean the world to me if you could, you know, just refer me or intro me to 3 other people that are just like you and, you know, could see value in what we're doing here. Additionally, I'd love to just connect with you, coffee, whatever, and see if, you know, video is something that you guys are looking to implement in your business and how we can add value there. So now take a step back from that. Like what I did was, this is the psychology of gift giving, right? I've given you something, right? You feel very valued and appreciative that I just gave you something that is, you know, it's got your company or name on it on the logo animation. Like this is something that you can use and you're going to see immediate results from. So I've given you this great gift. You are very, very much in line or inclined to now reciprocate that to me. And you want to give me a gift because you feel like you owe me. So 9 times out of 10, that's what happened. I would either get them as a client or they would intro me to 3 other people.
And you did all that again. And the majority of that happened in which year? The
2020. Yeah, that was January, February, and March.
Yeah, and that's
right before COVID happened, literally before things got shut down. And I could not, looking back, I'm so glad I did that because maybe this thing would not have turned out the way that I did had I not had those 3 months.
Yeah, because then, I mean, yeah, you've got the momentum from that because again, you've got enough work, then you're posting all that work on IG. They're seeing it. There's always somebody from a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, who's now ready. And you just created, it's beautiful, man. So a couple more here. The one I'm thinking is great stuff. That's, you know, I love, you know, obviously I'm big into the mind stuff. I think there's so many people I see are super talented, and because their psychology, their optimism, all that, it's in this shitter. I've had people who I've worked with who I don't usually look at work because I have seen people who, if you judge the book by their cover, you'd think they wouldn't succeed. And then people who I'm judging the book by the cover and you think they're successful. And I've been able to take the people who you judge the book by a cover and think they wouldn't succeed and they're killing it. So I just don't care about the work. And I had one guy, you know, I'm talking to him and by and large, I'm like, I expected the guy to not have good stuff. And finally one day he just sent me some stuff and I'm like, holy shit, man. And so then it's an extra layer I can give somebody because it's easier for a person in general. Now I've practiced this, but it's easier for me to see somebody's great work and give them extra fire than it is for me to stay neutral when I see crappy work. Right. But because I know that I've seen okay work and seen what they've done when they're freaking doing what you're doing, like rather than like, you know, I reached out to a couple people, that person's reaching out to hundreds and they're getting work and you just start to change it. Now, if they're great and do what you do, you get the results you're getting. Right. So it's not about, I'm not by, you know, saying be mediocre.
No, exactly.
If you don't get the psychology right, I don't care how good you are, you won't do well. You won't take the actions you're taking, which is ties into kind of my last thing, which is, how old are you right now?
27.
Have you heard of, because I think he'll be a guy that you will resonate and find a lot of value in, Alex Hormozy?
Yeah, he's down here in Austin too.
Okay, is he in Austin? Okay.
Yeah, he lives down here in Austin. A couple of the guys actually know him. I'm waiting for my chance to meet him. Okay,
I got a friend who was working for him running his ads. It's a really cool guy.
Oh, he's super, super smart, successful guy, amazing guy.
So where did some of the stuff, I know where obviously you learned your film background, full-time filmmaker, but
yeah, 100%.
the whole thing I was continuing to try to collaborate with Parker was for more business slash, the mind stuff that I'm doing, because that's not really overall covered. I mean, the main thing he kind of brings up is free to feed. Where were you learning a lot more of your business marketing? You said video business cards, so I think there's a few that you may bring up.
Yeah.
I'm curious, some of those people.
Yeah. I think you're spot on with what you just said too about full-time filmmaker. It's really, really great to teach you the, actual technical editing, filming side of things.
And be an order taker on certain levels, right? They don't know what to do. Hey, can you make me a sexy video? Okay. We'll make a great video.
Yeah, exactly. I think FTF does a great job doing that. I think Parker does a great job doing it. They're the best, literally the best. And I 100% learned everything about filmmaking and editing from that course alone. So shout out to Parker. But the point I'm proving is you don't have to know anything about anything before. Like, you can learn these things. Business was different for me. I have just been a money hungry business entrepreneur guy since I was ever can remember. I remember having being in Boy Scouts, sculling the kettle corn. I remember having the lemonade stand on the corner in the.
I had a candy machine business in high school.
Yeah, dude, I was cutting grass during the summers. I was plowing snow during the winters because I grew up in St. Louis area by you.
Yeah, I didn't know that part. Okay.
Yeah, Millstadt, Illinois.
Yeah, okay. I'm in Alton.
Yeah, exactly. And then I went to Edwardsville for school. So.
SIUE. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, dude, small world.
Yeah, super small.
That's where you're born then, though?
Yeah, born in Millstadt.
Okay, cool.
So those kind of business things just always
thinking that way has been part of your psychology. Any background parents or anything? Mine were not. So
mine, not really. My dad was he was in banking. My mom was in human resources. So
not entrepreneurs then.
Not entrepreneurs. Definitely the black sheep of the family there for entrepreneurship. But what they did, what my dad did teach me was being super competitive. I'm very, very competitive. Yep. And I think that ties over into business. But in, going to school, college, I was a double major in economics and finance and specialization in portfolio analysis. So I really understood the numbers. I liked numbers. I liked analytics. I liked taking data, turning it into information there.
Would you say you're a high, when I talk about if you just take cars, for example, you got electric only, gas only, and gas and electric. And so humans are kind of that way. I'm all people. When it comes to the data analytics numbers, my brain starts to go to mush. Then there's people who they can't talk to a human if you paid them $1 million.
Yeah.
The hybrid. Do you consider yourself the hybrid then?
Definitely a hybrid. I'm a hybrid. And the best way I can explain myself is I'm just an entrepreneur that just so happens to be super creative. Yeah. So that's what's going on in my head. And, but I took that concept and that's what Media Pouch is, right? It's epic videos, results driven. I took content and married it with numbers, and this is what you get Media Pouch or Chamber Media or something else like that. But
any other,
I think the big
go ahead. No, go ahead, finish your
I'm trying to come full circle for you and answer that question. What really helped me, I think just I've had a really, really good mentor throughout my life, and that was my first boss ever. And he really paved the way for everything that happened and what is happening. And, I think that's
your life today.
100%. Just talked to him this morning, we probably catch up bi-weekly now, but, he taught me everything. And I think that's probably the most underrated, undervalued, overlooked, thing that people can do or people can have to learn about something, whether it be business or creative or
how much can
tech.
you share about him in particular? What business is he in or any of those kind of variables?
Yeah. So Paul Bryant, his name, and then his company is STL Digital. Back in the day, whenever I was 14. Yeah. Okay. Out in O'Fallon, Missouri, or Lake St. Louis.
Have you heard of Cool Fire Media?
No.
Okay. Because they're about a $10-20 million company.
Oh, wow.
But I've never, so what was the name of the site again?
STL Digital, but he specifically does sports photography and stuff like that. Okay. So Not anything video related, but just a little video some video,
creative,
which is
just kind of creator.
Yep. But basically I started off there doing just kind of customer service, sales, helping people find their pictures and stuff like that. But then I think he saw in me that I enjoyed the business side. And so he taught me everything from marketing, accounting, like editing, filming, photography, all of it. And I just kind of ran with that company from the age of 14 all the way through like college whenever I was done with it.
Okay.
Like I was doing commissions. Like I had
10 years, probably almost a decade.
Yeah, dude, I learned it all, man. And so that helped. The most recent thing that's helped for business is I did hire a business coach 3 months ago, and that's been almost transformational. Just to have somebody that's holding me accountable on things that I need to be doing day to day, but then also helping me scale, like thinking super strategically. And this is, you know, someone who's done it and understands it. And having that person, right? Like Paul helped me get to this point, right? But now we're going from 6 figures to 7 figures, right? So I need a different
Paul,
person.
You're talking about Xavier?
What's that? No. Paul.
Sorry.
Paul,
okay,
yeah. Paul from STL Digital. Yep. I've seen Paul Xavier stuff though. It looks interesting. I almost did it, but wasn't ready at the time.
Yeah, he was in my mind. I've done stuff with him in the past, but yeah, you just said Paul Bryant. So okay, yep.
Yeah. So the yeah, you know, I think you require a different knowledge and person to help you get to that next level. And it'll be the same thing when I go from 7 figures to 8 figures, right? And then 8 figures to 9 figures. Like there's going to be that different strategist that's needed.
Is this person in the creative fields, or is this just a general? Okay.
Yep. General business coach that understands scaling, systems, processes, automations, because that's the biggest thing, right? Like there's so many systems, processes in video production that can be automated, right? And that's what I'm focused on. How do I automate a lot of this stuff, but to still keep our look, right? So that's been helpful. And, you know, I think if somebody's listening, they're probably like, well, how do I get better at sales? You don't sell. Like anybody who's asking, like, how do I sell better? Like the answer is you're looking at it completely wrong. And like, you should not be selling. I sell without selling every single day. Like you need to be learning about who it is that you're talking to and providing them solutions to their problems that they're discussing with you and providing that value. And when you do those 3 things, you're not selling. And whatever you tell them, because at that point, you're going to be the authority expert and credible, they're going to do whatever deal you put in front of them because they trust you at that point. So that's how you get better at sales.
Like serving, overselling, like serve the person in front of you, help them, and don't always be I find, in fact, that ability to not be the yes person as an advantage, right?
Exactly.
The like yes to I can do that. Sure. No problem. Versus like guiding and like to being an authority and an expert. But like, if you're not a right fit, like you have that from time to time, we're like, hey, we're not, well, you gave one example with the one you just didn't want to do, but there's that aspect too. Do you have somewhere you go, yeah, I don't think like we can't get you, what we do is not going to work for you. I don't think we're a right fit to help you. Like, does that come up from time to time? And then you kind of refer them off to somebody who more strategically, like, let's say live streaming. If somebody came in, and the only thing they needed was live streaming, you wouldn't try to figure out how to outsource to, somebody take that on. Yeah.
No, it just doesn't align. One, it doesn't align with the brand. Live streaming is just, what it is. It's not epic in any fashion, shape, or form, but for what I want Media Pouch to be and what it is. So I wouldn't even be interested in that. And I'd just find somebody that's their specialty, right? Like, I don't want to just connect that client with somebody who's mediocre, Joe Schmo. I would go and find somebody that
you try to do that regularly. Like, do you have that network of people that overall you're really trying to make sure, hey, if I got this thing, and there's probably that reciprocation there happening as well.
Exactly. 100%. Yep. Like, they're going to give me what I'm best at. I'm going to give them what they're best at.
You know what you're best at. You know what they're best at. And it's easier to refer a person who is clear about what they're wanting and what they're
Well, exactly. And, some people will think that you're freaking crazy for turning down business. But what ends up happening is that because you set that person up with such a good client, or you set that prospect up with a vendor or agency that you know and trust that's going to absolutely crush it for them, that prospect's going to appreciate that. They're going to be like, wow, like I wouldn't have even gotten to this person without Ryan or Media Pouch. And they're going to come back. Like they might not be your customer for that thing, but they might know somebody that is looking for your product, and they might need something later down the road. And you're going to be top of mind, not the person that they went and bought that video from, but that person that referred you to them because you went out of your way to research, find them the best service provider for what they were looking for.
The only, as I know we're wrapping up here, the only thing I didn't get to bring up at all.
No, you're good. I've got time too. Okay. If you want to go longer, I'm good.
You just let me know whenever. I mean, I'm good right now. So whenever you need to, you let me know, and we cut off at any time.
12 is my next meeting. So we're good.
We'll go for like maybe 10 till then, maybe another 10, 50 minutes.
Yeah. Give me some time to take a tinkle in the bathroom in between meetings today.
It was, I appreciate this so much, man. Very valuable because, it's the one thing I want to make sure that I do, that I still bring to the table to people, is I'm not in the game all the time anymore from going and doing the work and some of these like little strategies and tactics. Cause I don't like being the guy that I'm telling you how to do something that worked 50 years ago. For sure. So anyways, but it's the hiring part. So where like somebody I'm just working at has started to get employees. Like for a long time, all he did was when you want it done right, you do it yourself. He did it all himself. He's, almost tripled the business, I guess, from his highest years he ever got being the solo man in the last like couple of years. But now getting into, do we keep the people as contractors? Do we make them an employee? And when we're getting the employees, then they get in and we find out, oh, they're not as good as we thought they were going to be. And then like, where are you falling into that realm of like the hiring, firing, finding? Do we keep them a contractor or make them an employee? Because you said you were going to go from what, 3 to how many people are you thinking about making an employee this year?
So we'll basically, if all of these projects go through, which I'm looking at, everything should go through before July. Like we'll be up to a team of actually like 12 at that point once all the projects go through. I just need 3 immediately right now, like in the next month. But yeah, what that look like, are you asking? I guess be more specific on like the hiring, which part in the hiring process.
Yeah, I guess, is there anybody, are you still the main, like if we got to hire people, I'm 100% involved in that process.
That's me.
Enough. Yeah. You're still involved in all that.
Yeah.
And that's not been, I guess you haven't done enough yet. Like who are the 3 people that are employees? Like what are the roles of those people currently?
Video editor, producers. Mostly video editors.
All sales right now. Now, do you see yourself getting where you're going to have a sales team? Like what's the vision there with how the team's going to expand and where your role will be in that?
Yeah, exactly. So like the hierarchy, org chart, how that looks like is, I'm just going to say like by the end of the year, what it looks like. It's me. There's 2 project managers. The project managers are, they're client facing. So they're handling communication on the external, but then they're handling communication on the internal with the teams being filmmakers and editors / animators / show notes person / YouTube, whoever those people are. But those 2 project managers will split the amount of work down the middle and take, call them teams, but like 2 teams each. And then they'll handle everything for those clients and internally there. Sorry, I blanked. What was the second part of that question?
No, I think I had mentioned the thing about like sales or where's your vision? So you're at the top and there's that, but like what in the perfect vision future, what are you doing on a daily basis for you?
So I'll definitely hire like a sales biz dev person just to handle all the inbound traffic, but then also, I've noticed I'm spending a lot of time writing contracts, proposals. And I've automated most of it for the most part, but I just don't want to do it. My energy is not there. So that person will come in and handle that. And then where I see myself, I basically go from entrepreneur, founder to business owner at that point, right? Like I'm managing all of it. Not all of it, but what I want to be managing, right? Like I'm not getting the deals to come in, or getting the meeting, but I'm closing them, right?
Okay.
I'm not planning the production, but I'm at the production if I like it and if I want to be there, right? Like,
you still want to be on site for some things.
Yeah, of course. Like I love that shit. I love editing. I love filming. Like that's where my energy is at. Like I want to be.
Now when you say editing / filming, so would you ever still edit things from time to time?
Oh, dude, I still hop in there. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
so there's the deep passion for the editing, the filming. Yeah. Okay. That's
great. For me, I get a lot of fulfillment gratification out of taking something from nothing and building it and seeing it through to a final product, right? And so for me, like that comes into play in the editing room. Like I love seeing all that come together, from the color grading to the transitions to the story. Like
such a hybrid from that, right? You like, for me, I got to the point where like, man, I don't want to be in front of the computer at all. Yeah. Right. But you're able to be now. You went to all those networking events, everything. You genuinely still love like interacting and being.
Oh yeah. I love that too. Yeah. I think I just love all of it. Yeah. To be honest.
Great, it's awesome, man. And it's fascinating.
It's, I definitely don't want to just be like looking at numbers all day as a CEO. Like, I don't think that interests me. I think if it ever got to that point, I'd just sell the company because I just kind of probably just get burned out on it. But just my role, I want to hire the people that do their job really well, that keep fueling us to go forward. But then I'm just focused on just having fun, making everybody happy, making everybody smile. Like the mission is to be the world's greatest content creator company in the entire world, right? And the vision is for us to absolutely crush it, dominate it this year and going forward with our revenue goals and everything. And our purpose is to, be the best place to work, in the US, but then also on the client side, deliver the best product ever possible. So like I'm stuck on culture right now. Like, I think that's the best way to answer your question, is that my role will evolve into building a really, really good, strong culture. So,
and does that, with what you said there too, does that have from coming from more locations, or just a depth of like people from all the world will come to work with you where you're at?
Yep.
I'm going to have a London location, a New York City location, none of that. Just
nope.
Simply keeping it in Austin and keep going deeper into becoming more and more excellent.
Yep.
Are there a amount of people, or where's those revenues for the next? I mean, how far out are you beginning with your numbers and things like that?
Yeah. I mean, my 10-year plan, game plan, projections, forecasting, like I definitely want us to be at 50 million in revenue, right, in 10 years. And that's what we're going to need to like dethrone Red Bull Media House. Like those guys are the best, the most epic media house in the entire world.
That competitive nature in you that's got that drive to, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I want to take them down, and I'm going to need some big bucks to do that. So
now how would that break down on a revenue from projects? Would you be getting into projects that are now a couple $1 million, or how does that?
I think so. Now that I've I never, like, if you asked me this question even a year ago, like, what does $1 million video project look like? I would be like, I have no clue. I don't even know how we're in the same room talking about that number. I'm in those rooms now. I understand what that level of client wants and what they needs. And I understand, like, it's not necessarily harder work. It's just figuring out the logistics and scalability of it. So, it would definitely be a mix, I think, of 6-figure and 7-figure jobs. I mean, that's what it'll take.
Well, one of the companies that I know in St. Louis, I mean, they would get $250,000, campaign of 5 commercials, but now what they're doing is exactly what you were talking about. They've turned some lawyers into $1 million a year clients, where so your deal for MRR might be, what is an average one right now, if you could throw out a number, right? Like
for MRR?
What they're paying monthly to have you execute
15,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pay 15,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 15,000 a month to do what they're doing with you. So it's over 100 and whatever, 70 something $1,000 a year.
126.
Got the number down to 10. Okay. I wasn't the math man, so I appreciate you doing the math.
it comes out to 126 after the tax and everything.
Yeah. So the thing is, I guarantee what there is $1 million is not any more work, energy, or effort than what you're doing for the 126. Like that's that difference.
Oh, I mean, if anything, the 126 is a little bit harder than the $1 million, in my opinion. But that's just the client, right? Like
exactly.
The difference is the client, not the actual project. More revisions, less revisions.
Where the lady goes, yeah, I just want to let you guys all know, like this project's been canned, like internally in regards to what it was for, but we're still going to do the project. And we're so much fun. We're so excited. And I went and I said, how much is this project? This was like 2010. And I was like, this is insane. They're still going to do it. Like, how much are they paying? They're like $130,000. And I'm like, if somebody even at 10 grand, you hadn't finished something and then something got canned, they do everything to get their money back, not pay the rest or whatever. Yeah. It's like, let's keep doing it. But some of those, I remember one of my original mentors, that was exactly that. Like, what was the difference between a 5,000 and a 50,000? This was in 2008 when I was like really just getting started.
Yeah.
And he's like, you could do the same work, but one's $1 billion company, one's $1 million, one's a whatever. And that's really can be the single biggest difference between spending a week on a project you get 10 grand for, or spending a week on a project you get $1 million for.
Mm-hmm.
Not the amount of work. And that was a big shift for me, like with the mind stuff. Like, I think from a perspective that a lot of people who aren't running around in worlds experiencing what we're talking about here, like I'm going back to the kid who was 19, lived in his parents' basement. You know what I'm doing? It's like, I don't go to Target and they're like, oh, well, you pulled up in a Ferrari. This box of cereal is $75 now. And so I didn't understand how literally I can lose jobs just because I wasn't.
You got to know your audience and who you're talking to 100%. That is also what I learned from those networking events, that I was probably barking up the wrong tree for 75% of those people.
Yeah. What you wanted, like $126,000 project, 75% of those people were never in a million years going to do that. So on that note, would there be strategic places you go to and do versions of that where you know how you get that $126,000 deal now?
Yep. I know exactly where to find those people now.
You share that?
In Austin, there's like Cars and Coffee right on Sundays. It's like an event. People drive their exotics to like some location, wherever it's at. And then there's like coffee and people are just hanging out. But all those people driving Ferraris, Lambos, McLarens are there, right? You're never going to get all those people in one place at one time ever again, but they're there every Sunday. And those are the guys who are entrepreneurs, business owners, the ones with $1 billion companies, the ones that you want to be working with. Those are the people you need to go just have a coffee with and just ask them, how'd you get that? What's the story? What's that car's name?
Let
them talk about themselves. And it's like, what do you do? And then you find out about their company and they're like, holy shit, I've seen you guys, or I want to do that or work with you. And then now you've got a connection. Like, dude, it's like they know nothing about you. You just ask them.
My mentor literally is like, you can go to, get a $10 haircut or a $300 haircut. And I guarantee the people in the place you're getting a $300 haircut are far different than the place.
100%.
And it's not for everybody to go out and start getting a haircut for $300, but the premise is the same. Like, where are these people that conjugate together who obviously have big businesses and a lot of money? And they're 100%. Not usually, unless you're at the Beverly Hills, networking, or whatever type of thing. It's like the average type of these events, you got a people who just sit around, screwing around, wanting to eat lunch together. And they're not really competitive. They're not driven. They're just getting by. They're content. And so does that competitive nature, is that one of the biggest things that keeps you driven forward? Because like, is it a money? Like, is it truly, like, from a psychology standpoint, do you feel complete? Like, it's not I'll be something better when it's just simply this competitive, like, that's just who I am. I'm going to win the Grand Slam, whatever.
I think that's what it is. I'm pretty happy. I feel not pretty. I am happy. I'm happy every single day. I feel very like, if I died tomorrow, I died happy. I honestly would. I've traveled the world. I've made a lot of difference in a lot of people's lives, and I've done a lot of good. So I'd be happy if I died tomorrow on that note. And what fuels it is just it's like, everything's a competition. Like, I like everything in my life is a competition. Like, how fast can I get to the destination before the GPS? Like, how how efficient can I get to, like, Europe if I don't take this route? Or it's how quick can I, for me, Red Bull, they've got the bull, right? It's a bull, that's their logo. Well, we have a kangaroo. So like now it's like, all right, the bull and the kangaroo are in the boxing ring. Like the kangaroo's got to beat the fucking bull, man. Like that's how I view it. It's not even a revenue thing. It's not even a content thing. It's just like the kangaroo has got to come out on top of this thing. And so it's
beautiful.
It's not a heuristic because it's not words, but like kind of in the sense it is a heuristic in the sense of like it's taking mental things and breaking them down into a way that makes sense for me, that really motivates me and stuff like that. So, but
people who don't have that, Ryan, need to, and I have a friend that's Ryan local to me. He's just like you in a lot of ways. People who are like, that's not their natural tendency. I believe on the short term, they need to partner with people like you. Like they need to find people like you to shoot for, because that's why they'll be better. They can make $80,000 a year a lot easier than them trying. And I've seen this. I've had some, I've had a guy who he kept trying to do what you are doing.
Yep.
And he always was struggling. He had a job. He'd make 10 or 15,000 on the side. I kept asking, what would you do if you didn't have any money? It's like, man, dream scenario is I just get to have this awesome home office and I just edit. I just want to edit. Yep, and when he made that decision, he ended up getting a Netflix assistant editing job. He has done 2 of them now. One's a really huge one that he got recently, and he's making, I think it was $10,000 a month as an editor.
Yeah, that's great.
And he could never get past $15,000 a year trying to run a whole video production company where he's got to find the job, sell the job, shoot the job, this job, hire people. He just wanted to edit. And there's too many people who, I always say there's too many.
But he's self-aware for that too, or you helped him. You helped him become self-aware of that, and that's what people don't have is self-awareness.
Absolutely, man. That's really the crux of my work with people, because that's where I unlock you've been moving in slow motion and you go from here to way up here really fast because you keep trying to be the Lamborghini and you got a little 4-cylinder car and you're just not accepting it. Like,
no, exactly.
Get off the NASCAR track, get off with the race cars, like go in that and you will thrive. And too many people see people like yourself though. And when they're nothing like that, they keep battling. It's the whole Einstein fish climbing a tree. They just, you're going to waste their time and energy.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, I think people get into a little bit of trouble doing that because they're comparing their journey to somebody else's, which you just can't. And the other thing they're doing is they're setting expectations for themselves that are not even their expectations that they came up with. They're setting in somebody else's expectations and standards into their brain headspace, and they are so out of sync with reality and expectations that they then start feeling bad or depressed or anxiety because stuff is so out of whack. They're like, I don't know, I need to be doing this, but I'm doing this. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And just becoming self-aware of, like, you just got to ask yourself, am I an introvert, extrovert? Go from there. And like, what do I enjoy doing? What do I not enjoy doing? I like editing. Great. I want to be a full-time editor, problem solved.
Awesome, man. Dude, you got to go to the bathroom and get ready for 12 o'clock. Go get your 500K job.
I know.
Dude, absolutely honored, man. I appreciate you taking the time today. And it's great stuff. I mean, some great tips that you can then, you can tweak to a lot of industries too with some of this. Even the networking thing is something simple that, quite frankly,
anybody can run with.
That 3 tips, there's something that you can offer of massive value. Have them do it now. Pay that extra little money to just be able to get in front of them. That's what I found. I usually did it through doing the work. I would, rather than show, tell and not show, I would do something and show that in front of the people.
That
was always a door opener for me. So
exactly. It's the same concept. You got to practice your trade in front of the people so that they can get a glimpse inside. So
behind the scenes. Cool, brother. Well, hey man, we'll keep in touch and
definitely.
Really appreciate it. I wish you the best success. I can't wait to see you end up actually probably hitting 3 million this year. So
hopefully, let's knock on wood, man. No, I appreciate it. It was good chatting it up with you, and I'm glad I could answer some of those questions. I just didn't want to type them all out.
Dude, I didn't
Facebook.
I was
like, we can just hop on
somebody, and I just started firing it off, and I was a little out of contact. Yeah, it's all good though. I appreciate this much better. So
cool,
man.
Awesome, man. We'll see you later, and if you need anything, just hit me up.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
All right. See you, Michael.